When Prince Harry dropped his memoir Spare, everyone thought it was going to be a heartfelt story. But what came out? Oh, it was messy, scandalous, and shocking enough to leave even his most loyal fans gasping for air. And while the headlines focused on the wildest details, royal biographer Tom Bower was quietly digging deeper. What he uncovered wasn't just juicy gossip, it was a pattern, a strategy, a deliberate takedown of the very institution Harry once called home. Let's start with the moment that had the entire world cringing. Harry confessed to suffering from frostbite and then revealed his bizarre cure. Not a doctor's prescription, not a medical ointment. No, he reached for a tube of Elizabeth Arden cream. And here's the kicker. It was the very same cream his late mother, Princess Diana, used on her lips. Harry painted this eerie picture, opening the tube, sniffing it, and feeling as though Diana was standing right there with him. Sweet, right? Except he went further, much further. He admitted he applied it down there. Yes, you heard that right, a detail nobody asked for, and yet he gave it to us. The world groaned, rolled its eyes, and honestly, many felt it was just too much. But Harry doubled down, insisting he had no regrets. Not even about this. And Tom Bower? He saw it as more than oversharing. To him, this was Harry setting the stage, proving he was willing to rip past the lines of dignity, privacy, even self-respect, just to shock the world and grab attention. But don't be fooled, Harry wasn't just humiliating himself. Oh no! The true sting of Spare came from the daggers he threw at his own bloodline. He accused Prince William of violence. He painted Kate as cold, distant, and unsupportive. He branded Camilla as a manipulative schemer. And King Charles? Harry portrayed his father as weak, detached, and incapable of love. And if that wasn't enough, he aimed his fire at Britain itself, calling the nation racist and dragging down the monarchy's image with it. For Tom Bower, this wasn't an accident. This wasn't a slip of emotion. It was intentional. Harry knew exactly what he was doing. He wasn't just sharing his truth, he was dismantling the foundation of the monarchy, brick by brick, and millions of readers around the world swallowed that version of events. Now here's where it gets even more dramatic. According to Bower, Spare was only the first strike. The real performance came every time Harry flew back to Britain. Suddenly, he was the picture of reconciliation. Smiling for cameras, hugging children, donating money, £500,000 to charity? Sure. Though Bower insists Harry didn't even have that kind of money to give. He orchestrated perfectly timed appearances, made sure reporters thought he wanted peace, and even convinced King Charles to meet him face to face. And just when it looked like Harry was ready to heal wounds, he made a grand promise. Silence, a fresh start, a new page. But oh, how quickly that promise crumbled. Days later, Harry popped up in Ukraine, declaring his conscience was clear and flipping the script completely. Instead of apologizing to his family, he demanded they apologize to him. Bower calls this Harry's true nature. Polished acts for the cameras followed by betrayal once the spotlight fades. And if you think that's just a harsh opinion, listen to this. When Bower was asked to describe Harry in one word, he didn't hesitate. He called him dishonest. Not in anger, not in pettiness. This was after years of investigation, after speaking to sources who had worked closely with Harry. And that one word, it sums up everything. Because just months before Spare even hit the shelves, Harry was already under fire. Inside his own charity, Sintebale, based in Botswana, shocking accusations surfaced. The chairman accused Harry of being a bully, a misogynist, and most damningly, dishonest. Imagine that. The same prince who branded himself as compassionate, kind, and noble being accused of the exact opposite. But instead of sinking under the scandal, Harry pulled his favorite trick, reinvention. He reappeared at events, smiling, hugging children, handing out blessings, convincing the public he was back to his old self. It's the old Harry again, people whispered. But Tom Bower isn't buying it. He warns that this so-called old Harry is just an illusion. What the world sees is a mask, a calculated disguise for a man who wants the freedom of California but the prestige of the crown whenever it suits him. And that dishonesty? Bower says it's Harry's most defining trait. Now let's talk about timing, because if there's one thing Harry knows, it's how to strike when the crown is at its weakest. Tom Bower points out that the royal family today isn't standing on solid ground. Princess Kate has been battling private health struggles. King Charles, too, has been facing his own health issues. William and Kate, still settling into their roles as the future king and queen, are navigating enormous pressure. The monarchy, by all measures, is fragile. And right in the middle of this storm, who shows up with a dazzling smile and carefully staged gestures? Harry. He donates money. He flashes kindness for the cameras. He plays the part of the caring prince. But behind the curtain, Bower insists, the damage is devastating. Together with Meghan, Harry has done more harm to the monarchy in just a handful of years than anyone else managed in centuries. Centuries. Their interviews, their Netflix deals, their tell-all memoirs, every single project has chipped away at the crown's reputation. And here's the most chilling part. Harry seems to believe that charity checks and good PR give him a free pass to keep going. He hands out sums he can barely afford, poses for photographs, and acts as though these gestures erase the destruction left behind. Bauer doesn't see this as naivety. He calls it deliberate, calculated, a ruthless strike at an institution already weakened by illness and uncertainty. But the drama doesn't stop there. Oh no, because then comes Meghan. For years, Harry and Meghan moved as one unstoppable unit, the rebel couple who turned their backs on the palace, the glamorous duo who built a life in California. But according to Bauer, that glossy image is fading fast. Meghan's career has been faltering. Netflix deals haven't delivered. Her lifestyle brand, her projects, her grand ambitions, most have stumbled. And Harry, slowly, quietly, he's been stepping away from her collapsing brand. He started presenting himself as a separate figure with his own causes, his own agenda. But here's the twist. Meghan still needs him. She needs that royal connection to keep her name alive. Meanwhile, Harry seems caught in a strange limbo, using Meghan as a shield when it suits him, but also trying to separate himself when her ventures flop. Bauer raises a cutting question. Who's the real spare now? Is Harry just the spare to Meghan's endless ambitions? Or has Meghan, with her slipping career, become the spare to Harry's lingering royal identity? Either way, the once unbreakable couple now looks more like two lost souls wandering through Montecito, desperately searching for purpose. And in their confusion, their actions continue tearing into the monarchy's already fragile state. Take Sinta Bale, his charity in Botswana. Once described as Harry's passion project, it quietly fell apart. Why? Because it relied too heavily on Harry's own money. And when the funds dried up, so did his interest. Just like that. And so we arrive at the heart of it all, Harry's memoir title, Spare. For generations, the role of the spare has been silent, dutiful, supportive. The spare is the backup, the safety net for the heir. But Harry turned that role into a weapon. He refuses silence. He refuses to play second fiddle. Instead, he has wielded his spare identity like a sword, cutting into the monarchy's already fragile armor. Every interview, every explosive line in Spare, every carefully staged reconciliation, they all slice away at the crown's image. And in doing so, Harry has become more powerful as an outsider than he ever was as a working royal. He may not wear the uniform anymore, but make no mistake, he's still fighting a war. Only this time, the battlefield is public opinion. Tom Bauer's words hang like a dark prophecy. Harry and Meghan, he warns, have caused more damage in just a few years than any enemy of the crown managed in centuries. Centuries of wars, invasions, and betrayals couldn't break the monarchy. But the Sussexes, with cameras, memoirs, and microphones, they've left cracks that may never fully heal. And if you think the storm has passed, Bauer insists you're wrong. This is only the beginning. Because here's the chilling truth. Harry doesn't just see himself as a victim. He sees himself as owed. Owed apologies, owed respect, owed revenge. He walks with the belief that he has no regrets, no second thoughts, no reason to ever look back. And if that's his mindset, then the crown hasn't yet seen the worst of him. The spare has stepped out of the shadows, and in doing so, he risks setting fire to the very crown that once defined him. But let's zoom out for a moment. What does this all mean for the monarchy? For centuries, the royal family survived scandal after scandal. From Edward VIII's abdication to Diana's tragic story, they endured. But this feels different. Harry isn't just a rebellious prince with a chip on his shoulder. He's a man with a global platform, a Hollywood-polished image, and a willingness to reveal every intimate detail, no matter the fallout. It's not just gossip, it's a weapon. And with Meghan by his side, or perhaps drifting away, Harry has shown he's willing to use that weapon again and again. For attention, for money, for validation. And while supporters might still say, it's just Harry being honest, Tom Bauer shouts a louder warning, honesty isn't what's at play here. It's performance, it's strategy, it's survival. And in the end, the monarchy may pay the highest price, because the boy once called the spare has rewritten his role completely. He's no longer the quiet second son, content to fade behind his brother. He's the loudest voice in the room, the headline every newspaper chases, the scandal every palace official fears. And maybe, just maybe, he likes it that way. So here we are, Harry, the outsider prince, standing tall in California, yet casting a shadow over Buckingham Palace with every word he utters. Meghan, clinging to relevance through his royal ties, even as her projects stumble. The monarchy, weakened, fragile, struggling to repair its image. And Tom Bauer, holding up a mirror for the world to see the chaos in full view. the story isn't over, not by a long shot. And if Tom Bower is right, the crown hasn't braced itself for what's coming next. Because Harry isn't done, not by miles. And that's the true scandal. The spare, the man who should have been silent, may be the one who changes the monarchy forever.